What's up, carnivores? Zach here with American Smoke, and today we're talking about something extremely important. Today we're talking about being fed up with the system. We're talking about getting pinched from every direction that you can get pinched from. We are a people that rebelled against a system that wanted to pinch us, and today we're having to learn how to rebel our own way for our modern lifestyles. We may not be able to blow up ships because of a 2% tax, but we can figure out ways to beat this system. Today on American Smoke, we're talking about how to beat inflation with barbecue. Let's get it. So let's crunch the numbers, shall we? I wrote stuff down. Actually, I did not. My wife wrote this down for me. Thank you, honey. Today we're going to talk about several cooks that I've done recently, what it cost me to do those cooks, how much food I got off those cooks, and how I continue to benefit from past cooks for future meals. That's the ticket right there, is carrying the barbecue forward and how to do that. And we're going to talk about how much money you can save. It's extremely profitable, extremely profitable. For everything that we cooked that you're going to see here today, it cost us just a little over $200. All right, we bought a honey ham at $2.50 a pound. Total cost was $24.53. We bought a pork butt at $1.79 a pound. The total cost was $13.46. Gotta love those pork butts. They're extremely cheap. We got some whole chickens that we cooked. They cost us total $15.69 for 2-pack whole chickens. So you're looking about $7.50 per bird. Next, we cooked a whole brisket, full packer brisket. Total cost on this, just a little bit more substantial, almost $60. Looking at $3.98 a pound on that brisket. And then we cooked a pork loin. Pork loin's typically very cheap. Total cost $11, a little bit less than $11, and we paid right at $2 a pound for that pork loin. The point is that buying these things whole, not that expensive. Cooking these things at home, huge time expenditure. You can't get off work at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, get home at 3:45 and be like, man, I'm craving some brisket. Let's get this thing going. You can't do it. You can't do it. You know why? Because even if you cook it fast, you're looking at like 8 to 10 hours on a brisket. That's a weekend, baby. That's what you do on the weekends. If you want brisket on Wednesday and you didn't cook brisket on Sunday, you ain't gonna get no brisket on Wednesday unless you go to a restaurant to get it. Do you know, on average, what brisket costs if you go to a restaurant and buy it by the pound? Minimum $20. $20 a pound. That's just wild, man. That's so wild. And on average, across the board, the average is about $20 a pound. Chicken, pork, things like that, a little closer to 15, but you get into brisket, beef ribs, things like that, you're looking at a lot closer to $20 to $30 a pound. So we're going to say on average, $20 a pound. Total expenditure on everything that we are going to talk about today, $206.62. Now, everything that I cooked here, we already ate like at least 2 meals off of, okay? So let's get into what we got and how much money it can save us. One thing that most people underappreciate about barbecue is its ability to come back to life. Whether you're talking about honey ham, packs and packs of delicious honey ham, or you're talking about shredded chopped smoked chicken, or tasty brisket, pork loin, pork butt. All these things come back to life extremely well. Why? Because most of the time they have what's known as a high fat content. So all of your moisture isn't just coming from the liquid that's inside the meat. Like say a chicken breast, right? A chicken breast is gonna be tough to bring back to life after you've cooked it and then warm it back up, bring it back to life in the same way that it was right out of the smoker. But chicken thighs, chicken legs, all of that. It's coming back, baby. You can see this is how many meals that we got from those cooks. The brisket, the honey ham, the pork loin, the whole chickens, and the pork butt. There's more than this. Like I said, we ate about 2 meals off of each one of those cooks. If you want to see how I did those cooks, I did videos on all of this stuff. For chicken, I always make sure that I put a couple pats of butter into the chicken packet. Because like I said, chicken breast ain't coming back the way brisket is. But you put a couple packs of butter off in this and then warm it back up and let that butter melt into that chicken. It's going to compensate for whatever it is that you lose when you cut that chicken up and bag it up. Now, I know you might be looking at some of these packets like this, for example. This is a 16-ounce pulled pork, right? It looks like, man, that's like a sandwich. That's like a barbecue sandwich. Let me tell you something. Whenever you vacuum seal this stuff, it shrinks it down to a point that it looks like this. But when you take this out and you warm it back up and you go to eat it, it's gonna blow your mind how much is actually in there, because it pulls it down into one solid chunk. When you warm this up, don't worry. If you're a family of 4 and you like a 1/4 pound barbecue sandwich, that's 4 1/4 pound barbecue sandwiches. Most people don't put a 1/4 pound of barbecue on their sandwich. Most of the time it's a little less. You can get 6 to 8 sandwiches out of a pound of barbecue. For my math, I'm feeding a family of 4. And that's how we do it, about a pound. Usually I'm gonna go a pound to 18 ounces, something like that. What is this? This is pork loin. Now, like I said, some of this stuff is gonna come back a little bit lower quality than it did right off the smoker. So much better than something you get at the grocery store that's frozen. You just have to heat it up right, and we're gonna get into that here in just a minute. Look at this brisket. I cannot wait to warm this up. Brisket, when you heat it back up, comes back to life almost as good as it did when it was coming off the smoker. It's incredible how well brisket comes back to life. A couple honorable mentions, just ideas for you. We got half rack of ribs. We got chicken quarters, thick cut pork chops, thick cut pork chops. Some of you, in your brain, in your head, as I speak, you're sitting there thinking, well, Zach, if I want some chicken quarters, I'll just go home and I'll cook me some chicken quarters, and I'll eat chicken quarters. Well, here's the thing. If you want smoked chicken quarters, you have to first acquire the chicken quarters. That takes time. You have to come home, you have to prep the chicken quarters. That means getting them out, unwrapping them, getting them seasoned, getting whatever device it is you're gonna cook them with, whether it's in the oven, the smoker, the grill, whatever. That all takes time. So about an hour on prep time, getting everything ready, getting everything set up. And then if you're gonna grill them, an hour. If you're gonna smoke them, at least 3. So that's tough on a Wednesday after work. But hey, man, you want some chicken quarters? All you gotta do, 1 minute, take them out of the freezer, and then we're just gonna warm them back up nice and slow for about an hour, and they're done. So the time it took you to prep them, they're done. They may not be as good as fresh off the smoker or fresh off the grill. They are so much better than canned tuna, which is something a lot of people eat when they're trying to save money. Look at all this stuff, though. This has been sitting in my freezer, me not touching it, in preparation for this video, just so that I could show you carnivores out there my techniques for saving tons of money. Get this back in the freezer before my barbecue gets melted, thawed out, or whatever you want to call it. So let's get into like what you need to do this sort of stuff, right? You're gonna need possibly a vacuum sealer. Just get one. You don't have to get the world's best. You don't have to get one of these chamber sealers that costs like $2 grand or nothing like that. You just need something that sucks the air out of a bag. And guess what? If you don't want to buy one, if you're really trying to save that money, like what this video is about, all you got to do is put your barbecue into a gallon Ziploc bag, drop that down into some water, and the water will just push the air out of the bag, and then zippity-doo-dah, you got a sealed, vacuumed, air pushed out of the bag barbecue treat for later on down the line. It's super easy to do. I'm not gonna do any clips on how to do that today. You can, if you're confused about how that works, let me know down in the comment section below. But you can get you a vacuum sealer, or you can submerge it in water and then seal it off once all the air is pressed out. The matter of heating your barbecue back up comes into play. What we're talking about is sous vide. You can get you one of these sous vide. I got this thing off Amazon. I think it was a holiday sale, maybe Christmas, for like 99 bucks. You can find them for a little cheaper sometimes, but if they're not on sale, usually you can find a pretty good one for around $130. Now all this does is it just heats the water up. You set the temperature. You can set it to like 145 degrees, 150 degrees, which is kind of the temperature that you want your barbecue to be at when you eat it, so that it tastes and texture is just like it was when you pulled it out of the smoker. So let that go at it for around an hour or so. Times may vary depending on the protein and the thickness of the protein, but it's gonna be good. You're gonna learn how to do it. You're gonna develop technique. You're gonna get better. It's just like anything. You learn it. You learn it. I don't wanna buy one of those, Zach. Well, guess what? Boil you a pot of water, and when the water gets to boiling, throw your meat in there, turn the water off, and let that sit in there for 45 minutes to an hour. Typically, that's gonna get most proteins back to where you want them. The night before, throw it in the fridge. Let it come back to a soft, cool state. Then throw it in a skillet with a little bit of olive oil and maybe some water, steam it slightly. Man, it's gonna come back really good. Tell y'all what, I'll make a video, top 5 ways to reheat your barbecue. Y'all stay tuned for that one. If you haven't hit the subscribe button already, make sure to hit the subscribe, hit that notification bell. That way you know when that video comes out, because it's coming. It's coming. Besides the sous vide, besides setting it out in the refrigerator, letting it come up to temp, besides setting it in some boiling water, that's the main ways that you're gonna bring your barbecue back to life. And then the possibilities are endless. You know, you can eat your brisket. Oh, I like sliced brisket. Little sides with some mac and cheese, some green beans, some rolls, what you talk about. Or, you know, warm up your brisket, make you some brisket tacos. Warm up your smoked chicken, make you some smoked chicken stuffed shotgun shells or something like that. You know, warm up that delicious honey ham and put it on the plate with some sides and just have a really good meal for a Tuesday or Thursday or something like that, that typically you just don't get unless you go out to a restaurant and pay. Let's get into what we all came here for today. Look at this. You see this? I had to get out my Christmas money just so I could show you this. But this is the appropriate amount of money that what I just showed you saved my family, okay? So like I told you, $206.62 is what we spent to acquire the protein. Now, I did not calculate in about how much I spent on pellets and electricity and blah, blah, blah. You know what? Because American smoke ain't about that life. It ain't never gonna be. You just have to figure that out for yourself. But everything that we bought, if you went and bought that by the pound at a barbecue restaurant, you are looking at right at $1,200 to feed your family those meals. It's Wednesday. We want pulled pork. Let's load up in the car and go to the barbecue restaurant. Let's not even talk about if you have a delivery service. Bring it to your house. That's ridiculous. But people do it. You want barbecue delivered to your plate at your house? Pull it out of the freezer next time. Spend an hour warming it up. You're going to have to wait longer than that to get it from something another eats anyway. Just do it. And listen, Zach, I can't afford a vacuum sealer. Zach, I can't afford a sous vide. Guess what? 1,000 extra dollars are going to be in my pocket at the end of eating all this barbecue as compared to if I went out and had somebody make it for me. And I'm going to be able to eat good more regularly because I'm not having to wait till Saturday to cook me some barbecue, because you cannot do it during the week when you got to work. Zach, I can't afford this. Guess what? Take yourself through the manual round. Cook your barbecue, drop it in water, seal it off, thaw it out, warm it up in some boiling water. And by the time it's all said and done, you have saved so much money. Step your game up, get you a vacuum sealer, get you a sous vide. Just do it, man. Just do it. Look, I hope that y'all got the benefit that I wanted you to get from this video, because you can eat good all the time, more than normal anyway. It's not complicated. It's something anybody can do. You don't have to have any special equipment to get her done. And you save that moolah, baby, the moolah. You save the moolah, and that's what it's all about, man. This is our version of the Boston Tea Party. We're tearing down the system, one bag of frozen barbecue at a time. Carnivores, Thank you so much for tuning in this video. I hope that you benefited from it. Come see me over in American Smoked Carnivores on Facebook. I'm in there every day. School group. We're always got something going on. People always sharing cooks, telling jokes. It's like hanging out with your friends at a barbecue. Come hang out with us sometime. Also, you can now become a member of the channel, become a true carnivore, help support the channel's growth, help support my stress level going down a bit. But anyway, if you want to become a true carnivore, it's easy to do. Just hit the join button right here somewhere around this screen. Thanks so much for watching. Smoke on, and I'll see you guys in the next video.